welcome to another episode of the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. Folks, we've got an interesting show for you with sports, entertainment, and odd news. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. But before we get to all of those topics at hand, we had a busy week off. Well, not week off, but week since the last podcast. It felt like a week off because it was Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So, Mikey, how you doing? How's Costanzo Country coming back from the Thanksgiving break?
Doing good. I think I'm still full from the weekend because not only did we have Thanksgiving, but we also had my fiance's sister's wedding, which was a huge event. I mean, obviously, my fiance was part of it. She was the maid of honor. So we had rehearsals and the wedding, and they had like family in from out of town. So it was like constant events happening all over the place. I was jumping back and forth.
That's a lot to roll from Thanksgiving to wedding. Boom,
Thanksgiving,
boom, boom.
Rehearsal, wedding, and then the day after we're fighting to come out of the city as everybody's gearing up for an Eagles game. It's funny because that morning I passed by the Buffalo Bills team hotel. I didn't realize.
Boo.
Yeah.
Oh, good for you.
And I saw a bunch of Buffalo fans taking pictures of the coach buses, and everybody on our side of the street started heckling them.
As you do.
I've never
Philly.
felt closer to my fellow Southeastern Pennsylvania, Philadelphian, people.
Yeah, well, it's invaders. They're coming onto our turf.
It was so funny. There's just like this random like people walking by, and we're standing there watching the spectacle of all the fans taking pictures of the buses. And as people were walking by, they're like, "Oh, what's going on over there?" I said, "Oh, it's the Bills team buses," and they'd be like, "Boo!"
Yeah. That's actual audio from
Literally
from the ladies there.
It was very Philadelphia-esque, where like sweet little ladies like, "Oh, what's going on over there?" and then immediately turns. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Goes from sweet like, "Oh, what's going on?" to that.
Yep.
That's
actual audio.
Yep, that is pretty much exactly what happened. So that was fun, heckling the fans, and I don't know if the team heard me on the bus, but I did my best. I tried.
Yes, they did hear you. You're the reason why the Eagles won that game.
I like to think so.
Yeah.
That was me specifically.
Yes.
Not the players on the field or the fans in the stadium, but me randomly walking by the hotel that morning.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. It was good.
They
job,
heard
Mike.
what I said. I said something very hurtful to them. I said, "I hope you have the worst game ever." And they took that to heart.
Well, they did in the second half of that game.
They did.
Which we'll get to in just a little bit.
But yeah, so that's what I did. I was very busy. What were you up to? How was your Thanksgiving? Because you have like 3 Thanksgivings now at this point, right?
Yeah, I go to Rachel's family. I go to my Thanksgiving. Then Rachel's,
you had a pre-Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
this
my
year,
mom
too.
did a pre-Thanksgiving because she had an extra turkey. And I'm like, "What are you doing with an extra turkey? You might as well cook it."
So you're up to 4 Thanksgivings then.
Yeah, it was crazy. We have, I'm definitely turkeyed out. I've had a lot of turkey this past month.
No more turkey.
I mean, look, if you're gonna give me turkey, I'm gonna accept it.
He's not going to say no.
Right, but I am getting a little turkeyed out. I've had a
Okay.
lot of turkey this past
Okay.
month. It's like the Family Feud guy in Britain that said turkey, turkey, turkey for his
Right.
first 3 answers.
Was that you? Just turkey?
Yeah,
turkey,
like
turkey.
I'm not gonna say no, but you're probably gonna get like 2 points. Like,
Yeah. First time around, it's like it's awesome. Second time around, still good. Third time, you're like, okay, can we have a different?
We gotta
meat?
change this up.
Yeah.
So no, but I do love turkey though. So it's been a good month. So in that
It's
regard,
been a good month.
in that regard, it has been. Yeah. But no, this weekend I want to mention something that I watched. Me and Rachel watched Love Has Won.
I've never heard of that one.
It is another one of these weird cult documentaries from HBO.
Ooh.
It is really weird. It's amazing. I said this to Rachel after we finished this documentary. I can't believe we've now perused the one about Heaven's Gate. We perused the one about Nexium. Like, you think you've heard it all at this point. There's the one about Scientology. There's all these cults on HBO documentaries.
You got to send me a list of these because I want to watch these.
Oh, yeah. There's a full-blown list of them.
Okay. I got to check these out because I find it fascinating.
And you think by now, when you get to this one, you're like, oh my, I've literally been through the Scientology, Nexium, and Heaven's Gate. Like, oh my God, how many more of these cults can there be? What other new idea could somebody have come up with? And then you get to Love Has Won, the new one from HBO, and you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe it's another one. And it's even more ridiculous.
There's so many cults. Like, it must be pretty easy to start one.
It must be.
Should
because
we start a cult?
Maybe we should, although they don't end well. That's usually the thing with cults. They don't end well.
We just won't kill the followers.
Yes, but they usually end in like some sort of. If it doesn't end in suicide, it ends in legal action or something like that.
Oh yeah,
yeah, because that's what happened with Nexium. Nexium ended in legal.
Damn.
Yeah, and the dude, I forget his name. What was it? It was Vanguard. He called himself Vanguard.
Vanguard?
Yeah,
Oh
for
my
Nexium.
God.
Yeah, he's behind bars now for 20 years.
Yikes. All right, maybe we won't.
So,
start
yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't end well with these cults. It usually ends bad.
Damn.
Anyway, this Love Has Won, another one. Crazy lady just decides that she says, "Oh, I'm God." Did you know that?
Well, you go. I didn't know it was that easy.
Everyone's been wondering. Here you go. I'm here.
Everybody's looking for the answers to life, the universe, and everything, and it's just this random lady. Just, I'm God.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hello, I'm here. And yeah, she got a cult following. And I don't want to go into how crazy effed up it is.
Because this is definitely something I want to check out now.
But that's the beginning of it.
Okay. So it starts as an odd news story.
Yes, it
basically.
Does.
Okay.
It does, yes. This lady should have been in the odd news, not having an HBO documentary.
She might have at one point. We don't know. Maybe under
No,
a
we
different
do
name.
know because she has a legal name. God has a legal name.
God has a legal name.
Like that's
it's
the
Bob
thing.
God.
Like that's the thing. Like I can't believe people fall for cults these days. You know, it's like I can understand like religions that are hundreds of years separated.
Yeah.
Because that seems like an ancient time, and you don't know. But like this girl. She had a driver's license.
Right.
She's God?
Just Google people, you know?
God needs a driver's license? Doesn't God has an IRS tax number and like a social security number?
Do you think God could drive a car?
I would imagine he could.
But
does he need a license to do so?
Does he need a license for that? What's God's last name?
Johnson.
God Johnson.
Brothers Johnson.
Brothers.
You know?
Yeah.
I would imagine if God had some soul, he'd be Brothers Johnson.
There you go.
You know?
God has a license and can drive. And is a random woman.
Yeah. That's just it's just one of those things like when you think about things like on a literal level. Right. It's like how does this make sense?
The people that follow that person, you really have to question their intelligence.
Yeah. But they did, and I'll just leave it at that because the story takes a really dark and sudden turn from that point.
Oh.
And I don't want to spoil anything else.
Okay. So good viewing recommendations here.
Yeah.
With, what's the title of it? Love Has Won. Love Has Won.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is another just creepy, crazy cult documentary.
I'm watching that tomorrow morning during breakfast.
Yeah.
I do that sometimes.
But literally, it's funny. There's a whole list of them HBO has. If you have Max, you can watch them all.
Is there just a list like
at this rate, it should be like a cult cinematic universe.
Is it cult classics? Get it?
I see what you did there. Yeah.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah. But yeah, it should be like a cult cinematic universe at this rate.
It should be.
It's like, and every like 2 or 3 years, HBO finds another one to cover.
And there's never a shortage of them either. Because as long as there's crazy, stupid people out there, there's going to be weird and wild cults.
Yeah. I don't know. If this lady can claim that she is God, I don't understand why other people don't step into the ring and toss their hat into being the next God.
My whole career, I've always done better than anybody else. Only because of one reason. I was born with a golden spoon.
Why can't Ric Flair just claim he's God? He was born with a golden spoon. That
He was.
settles it. Bam. Done.
Simple as that.
He was born and a golden spoon it was handed to him.
That makes him God.
And he won 18-time world champion. Ta-da!
Why didn't you win 17? Why didn't you win 17 times?
Because he had to win 18.
Oh, he won 18. Oh, I thought you said 16.
think it
Why
was
didn't you win
18.
19? God would have won all 19.
No, that's enough. That's too
That's
many.
enough?
Yeah. We don't want to get greedy.
Oh, right, of course, because God has to stay humble.
Yes. Ric Flair, yeah. Has to stay humble. Perfect.
Anyway.
Yes. So there you go. That's what we've been up to this past week.
Turkey and Colts.
Yep. Good summary of the week. But we do have some big news to get to. So let's go into the first round of topics that revolve around sports. It's the Sports Sampler.
So you're not good at sports. It's a very small part of life.
Sports. In your face. Ha ha!
Yep, sports coming at you in your face. And we're going to talk about some league-wide coaching questions because we have our second firing. Sorry, second firing because technically
What was his
Raiders
name?
guy, Josh
Yeah.
McDaniels, got fired.
Yes. And
But
now,
that was his second. He's been there for a couple of years. This is Frank Reich. This was his first year.
yeah.
He only made it through 10 weeks.
Yep.
That's shorter than Urban Meyer.
Yeah. Frank Reich officially gone in Carolina.
Yeah.
I feel like he got just, separate from the topic we have planned. I think he got a raw deal because from what I understand, the ownership had their hands, put their finger on the scale when it came to some top draft picks, which usually doesn't go well when ownership is like, I want that guy. Let your
Bryce
your
Young.
football minds.
There's no need to beat around the bush. It's Bryce Young.
Yeah.
And they look like idiots. C.J. Stroud, it could be Rookie of the Year.
He absolutely, I mean.
And they passed on him.
Yep. So I feel like Frank Reich got a raw deal here, but there's a larger question looming in the NFL, brought to our awareness by Michael Lombardi on the Pat McAfee show. You actually, brought this quote up to me. I thought it was very interesting.
I thought you would like it.
Yeah, Michael Lombardi says, quote, Frank Reich just never looked good in Carolina. Owners used to want play callers, the big-time head coaches. Now owners need roster builders. The Panthers, Patriots, they're learning the hard way. A great coach can't really contend with a poor roster in this league. And this got me thinking, are we heading into an era where we could see a shift away from traditional play callers and play designing coaches more towards the big thing right now is analytics? You could have, I hate to call him this, but kind of like a game manager, players coach like Nick Sirianni, not really doing a lot in terms of the play calling and play designing. He's more of kind of like the inspiration and the heart of the team and kind of like a game manager than like the nitty gritty X's and O's. And the analytics drives a lot of it. Could we be seeing a shift towards that and away from the traditional Bill Belichick's and Pete Carroll's and Andy Reid's?
I think it's already happening.
Okay.
I mean, I really feel like when you look at the last couple of coaches that have had major successes, they're mostly young head coaches that are kind of there more to be the motivation behind the team than they are to plan the X's and O's. The X's and O's nowadays are usually done by the coordinators. That's
coordinators and the guys upstairs.
Yeah, the people that are really, that have their nose in the playbook and are studying the X's and O's are the coordinators. It's not the head coach anymore. The head coach is on the field making sure that they're using timeouts wisely and when to throw challenges and stuff like that.
Is it wrong to call them game managers? That's usually a dirty term when we talk about quarterbacks, but I mean, is that appropriate with this new?
I don't think so. I think that's the way it's going. And also another thing too, and this is something that Colin Cowherd has been a big proponent of, is that it's the offense. It's offensive-minded coaches that are the ones that need to be the head coach.
Yeah.
Because you have a situation like the Bills, which we're going to get to in a little bit, where you have Josh Allen, who's clearly he's all right, but he's not hitting that next level. There's
something missing in his, like, he's having, like, statistically
a
he
good season.
He still throws the touchdowns, he's passing for a lot of yards, but there's some kind of bottleneck or roadblock stopping him from reaching the levels that he has in past years.
Yeah. And it's not going to get fixed because you have Sean McDermott as the head coach, and he's a defensive head coach.
Right.
So
Same thing with Bill Belichick in New England.
yeah, Bill Belichick, another one. They don't know what to do with Mac Jones because Bill Belichick, he's more of a defensive-minded guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to fix a quarterback.
Both teams,
He lucked,
decent defenses.
he lucked into Tom Brady. He didn't need to
Yeah.
fix Tom Brady.
Yeah. Nobody can convince me that he's like, oh yeah, this random guy in the 6th round, he's the future. Like, no, that was a depth pick.
Yeah.
In
So
New
you
England
need
at
to
the time.
have, unfortunately, you need to have more of an offensive-minded head coach.
Yeah.
That pays you dividends more than a defensive head coach does.
Yeah. It used to frustrate me when the Eagles kept.
So basically what I'm trying to say is the teams that do well are these younger offensive side of the ball head coaches.
Yeah.
So you're Nick Sirianni, you're the guy for the Bengals. He's another one. I forget his name off the top of my head.
What is his name? I can't remember.
Yeah.
But that guy.
Zach Taylor.
Yeah.
Zach Taylor.
Sean McVay with the Rams.
Sean McVay, yeah.
few
There's
years
another
ago.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that is what's giving success now.
The Dolphins guy, Mike McDaniel.
Mike McDaniel. Yeah, another one.
Yeah, there's a lot. The Lions guy, he's not really that young, but
He's younger.
Younger, yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Andy Reids, the Bill Belichick's, the Pete Carrolls,
That's
like
the old guard.
that's the old guard. They're very much in the X's and O's. Like Andy Reid is GM, head coach, play caller. Like he wants to be involved in everything. I think that's a dying breed of coaches.
Yeah, that's going to be the last bastion of that. It's
Yeah,
gonna
like
be Andy Reid.
Nick Doug Peterson too. Doug Peterson came in, immediately gave up play calling duties. Nick Sirianni came in, immediately gave up play calling duties. And it's not I don't think it's a bad thing. We won a Super Bowl like that. We made it to a second Super Bowl like that. We're on our way to potentially a third Super Bowl like that.
Knock on wood.
And you see coaches, the Eagles are one of the most analytics-driven teams in the league, to the point where our offensive coordinator, who by all rights we say is awful,
Yes.
has a top 10 offense.
Yep.
So do you need an X's and O's guy if you have enough talent and you have analytics driving it and you have somebody like Nick Sirianni who's gonna mulch those flowers?
Yes, you
You
love
know?
that saying.
I
now.
still love that quote. I mean, he's still like almost undefeated since that quote.
Yeah,
We've
that's
we've
true.
only lost
two,
What?
3 games.
like 3 or 4 games since he made that statement.
Yeah, that's true.
So I mean, it's just an interesting take that you sent me. You sent me that quote, and it got me thinking. Like, yeah, I mean, maybe teams don't really need, like,
You don't need the best head coach.
no, you need somebody who's going to manage. It's really about managing the players. If you can get something, if you can get those players to punch above their weight class, which is how we won in 2017.
Yeah.
We took multiple busted, broken down running backs, and we hitched our wagon to them, and we won a Super Bowl.
Yep.
An old, aged out defense and won a Super Bowl. Like, because they got people to buy in, they got people to have fun, and they trusted the analytics, they trusted the coordinators. And Doug Peterson just, he just occasionally made a ballsy call, but that's it.
Yep. Exactly. So it's more important to have your Howie Roseman than it is to have your Doug Peterson.
Yeah, you got to be able to build a talent because, like, we'll get to it, but I think that the talent of certain rosters are bailing them out of games despite play calling.
Well, should we just get into it then?
Let's get into it.
Well, somehow the Eagles did it again as they beat the Bills in overtime, 34-31.
Boobies.
What does this guy think he's an Indian?
Like such as?
Oh, man. Just when you think the Chiefs game was too crazy enough, then the Eagles pull a game like this, where there was multiple times Philadelphia had heart attacks.
Yeah.
Like, this was... I don't know how the Eagles pulled out a win here. It's unbelievable. All the stats showed that the Bills should have won this game.
Oh, yeah.
But the Eagles came crawling back in the second half, were able to tie it up with a miracle field goal from Jake Elliott, which, by the way, he kicked a 59-yarder in the rain.
In the rain, I know.
That
The
might as
dude
well have
is-
been a 69-yard field
The
goal.
dude is automatic from 50+.
It's crazy.
Like,
He
under
misses a 20-yard field goal.
under 50, I'm biting my nails. I'm on the edge of my seat. Over 50, I don't even need to watch. I know he's going to make it.
It's crazy.
It's wild.
Forced overtime, and then in overtime, the Bills scored a field goal, but then the Eagles responded back with a Jalen Hurts quarterback draw touchdown to win the game.
Those quarterback draws, occasionally they do work.
I guess they do.
This is what I mean. It's sometimes the talent of the roster overcomes the play calling. We've been ragging on the quarterback draws. I guess it was the right call at the right time,
Yeah.
but the ability of Jason Kelsey with the lead block and Jalen Hurts to clean up, I mean, you just can't, you can't coach talent like that sometimes. They're just so good at what they do.
Yeah. It was definitely a momentous game. I mean, this was just all over the place. Multiple heart attacks had.
I didn't watch, and I still had a heart attack because I was getting the updates on my phone. And at one point, I see the score, partway through the third quarter. I'm like, oh man, this is a bloodbath. And then I look back and I'm like, oh wow, what happened? And then I see all of a sudden it's tied up, then overtime. And then my app stopped updating and I thought we had lost. I'm like, we lost. I'm like, yeah, I guess that's the Bills. Sure, why not? And then all of a sudden we won. So it was like
miracle.
I don't know what was going on.
Yeah.
Boy,
Another thing too.
Man.
Poor Bills. They lost that game in the AFC Championship game where the Chiefs, or was it the Bengals, were able to just score a field goal and the game was over.
Yeah.
Then they rewrite the rules to make the other team allow a chance to score if the first team only scores a field goal. Since then, the Bills are 0-5 in overtime games. They can't. If it goes into overtime, the Bills lose.
They just
period.
They just can't catch a break.
Bills do not win overtime.
They don't have some teams. I just feel like the Eagles are one of the most resilient teams in the league. Like when their backs are against the wall, when they're on the ropes, there's nothing. Somebody said, I can't remember the commentator. Somebody said the Eagles don't know how to lose.
Except against the Jets.
Except against the Jets. There's weird anomalies every once in a while. But
it's funny you mention that, though. I saw a stat. Jalen Hurts is right now, when the Eagles are behind in a game, Jalen Hurts completes 71% of his passes.
I think he's something like 10-0 when they're trailing by 10 in the second half.
At this rate, let's.
Honestly, I'd rather them go into half with. I think it fuels him. I think this man is driven by sheer rage at the prospect that he's not winning. There's a clip going around viral right now where when he was coming into the league, some interviewer asks him, how many times did you experience loss at the college level? And he said 4 times. He lost 4 games. And the interviewer goes, well, it's not going to be like that in the NFL. And Jalen Hurts goes, we'll see. Dude's 30-5 as a starter.
Wow. Hey.
Over, what's it been? Just over 2 years now?
Yeah.
2.5 years as a starter? 30-5. That's insane.
Yeah. So the Eagles with a big win against the Bills. But now they gotta turn the engine back on again because they have another big matchup back in South Philly against the 49ers, and that's going to be one of our fantastic 4 picks for week number 13. Should we get right into it?
Let's do it.
All right, let's jump into it. Fantastic 4 picks is armed. All right, what are the games?
All right, first up, we have an AFC playoff preview. The Seattle Seahawks are traveling to Dallas to face off against the Cowboys. This is a Thursday night game. So, Rich, the Seahawks start off pretty strong. They've kind of been falling behind recently. Can they stay alive here? Could this be a potential playoff preview? Who do you see winning this one?
Yeah, I really want to see Seattle give an upset to Dallas. But, yeah, Seattle's been really streaky lately. I don't know. I've been...
In their last 5, they've lost 3. Including 2 in a row against division opponents. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I want the Seahawks to win, but I just don't see it.
Yeah, I think it's a tough stretch playing Thursday night. The away team on Thursday night games usually get the short end of the stick because they don't have much rest. Yeah, I hate to say it. I think Dallas does take it at home, but I'm rooting for Seattle.
Yeah, I'm rooting for Seattle, too. It just does not look to be in their favor. Dallas, just on paper, statistically better. The Seahawks are streaky. I really don't want them to, but Dallas is going to hang in there another week and really, really threaten us in the weeks to come. Next up, though, we have two teams fighting for survival, teams that we didn't think we'd be talking about. They are the 8th and 9th seeds in the AFC. We have the Denver Broncos traveling to the Houston Texans. I did not think that either of these teams would be in the playoff discussion, but they're right there.
Yeah.
And they're all tied up 7, 8, 9. They're all tied up at 6 and 5 apiece. Rich, who wins this one? This is actually a really interesting one because they're super evenly matched.
It is, and I think this solidifies major awards. If the Broncos win, you can make a case for Russell Wilson being named Comeback Player of the Year. If it's the Texans, I think you've got a case for C.J. Stroud winning Rookie of the Year. So there's a lot of implications in this game. But I really love the way Texans are playing. They are playing. You want to talk about punching above their weight?
Oh,
the
yeah.
Texans are punching above their weight. This is a team nobody expected to be contending for a playoff spot. They almost knocked Jacksonville off last week.
Yep.
They were in the final
They lost
phases.
a close game, 24-21, yeah.
They were in that to the bitter end. They almost took a game from Jacksonville in that one. So I like the way the Texans are playing. I still am not on board the Wilson hype train. I don't know. There's still I need to see more from Russell Wilson. But Houston Texans, C.J. Stroud, there's a lot of good feelings. They're playing well. I love the story. I love the Texans at home.
Yeah, there's something really compelling about their story about shedding the specter of Deshaun Watson. And, I mean, C.J. Stroud, if it's C.J. Stroud or Jalen Carter for Rookie of the Year. The dude is playing lights out, and I know the record is only 6 and 5, but they had a lot to overcome, and nobody thought they were going to be anywhere near this good. The Broncos, I still don't quite trust them yet. They do have a tougher division, I think, than the AFC South, but I like the Texans at home. They're going to be comfortable. Offensively, they're much better than Denver right now. So I'm going to go with the Texans. Hopefully, I would love to see them in the playoffs. I think it'd be a great story.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the opposite of fighting for survival. We have a race to the bottom between the Carolina Panthers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It is also a division matchup.
Yeah.
And
I disagree. This is not a race to the bottom.
you pointed
game.
out to me, statistically, they both could still end up in the playoffs.
There is no. There's a mathematical
Or one
way.
of them could end up in the playoffs.
Panthers are 1-10.
Yeah.
There is a path in the playoff machine where the Panthers could win out, and all the AFC South or NFC South teams blow it, and the Panthers win at 6-11.
Okay, well, tell me this. Is this the first step on that journey?
Sure. You know
Are
what?
you going with Panthers?
Sure. Why not?
I was going to go with the Panthers, too.
The Panthers, they got rid of Frank Reich, so they want a big shakeup. Bryce Young is apparently going to play for his job because the Panthers seem to be disappointed in their number 1 overall pick, and now because of him, they don't have a first round. They don't have their first round pick for next year. It goes to the Bears, so they need to win this game so that they don't look like they traded away their number 1 overall pick for next year for this dude.
Look,
Yeah, Panthers go. They got to get a win.
I'm just saying this about the Panthers. Coaching changes can go one of two ways. They can tank a team, or they can kind of invigorate them and spur them to win one for the coach kind of mentality, you know? Sure, why not? Division game, it's going to be tough. It's going to be close. They always are. Tampa Bay's not good either. It's not like this is Carolina going up against the Chiefs or against the Eagles. This is well within striking distance for them. You know, this is not a 9-win team. It's a 4-win team they're playing against.
Yep.
So sure, why not? Division game, new head coach, win one for the new guy. Why not?
Or else Bryce Young's going to be looking for another job. They're going to be the new Cardinals. They're just going to cycle through quarterbacks every year.
What's the quote? We got nothing to lose, therefore we're dangerous, or something like that. What's that? The Replacements?
Yeah.
Or what was the movie?
Something like that.
Something like that. So I like the Panthers. Why not? Panthers, sure.
Yeah. I think it would be funny if the Panthers win out and they win the division at 6-11.
That would give me so much joy. You know what else?
It's possible.
It is. Statistically, it is.
Because that division is that bad. The Falcons are leading the division at 6-7 or
no, they have a
5
losing record.
Yeah, it's 5-6 or something.
Yeah, they have a losing record. But two teams that don't have losing records, though, is our very own hometown Philadelphia Eagles playing host to the dreaded San Francisco 49ers. I think this is one of the games that I was most dreading when I looked at the schedule at the beginning of the year. Rich, does it still give you cause for concern?
Absolutely. The 49ers, I know that they have circled this game because they want to get some revenge after that NFC Championship game. So I think they're going to come into this game 110%. The Eagles, I think they might have just used up all their luck in that Bills game. You know, you can't win them all. And this stretch is brutal. I think this is the one that finally gets a loss in the column. I think, yeah. I know it's like one of those, like, they complained about it so much at the end of last year. I don't want to see them win. But I think it's just the right time. The Eagles are probably just exhausted after that Bills win in overtime. I think the 49ers, they strike at the right time. I think it's just too much, too little time. I think the 49ers come in and actually handle the Eagles in this one. Unless the Eagles hurt Brock Purdy again.
There's always a chance. Look, we'll be playing in Philly. Our pass rush is going to be much better. I'll just say this. The line opened with the Eagles as home field underdogs.
Yep.
How very dare they? How dare they? You know what happens when the Eagles play as underdogs. We play fast and we play hungry. Everybody said this is the worst stretch of the schedule. We beat the Dolphins, two division opponents, the Chiefs, and the Bills, back to back to back to back to back. Why not the 49ers? What makes them so much better than the rest of those teams? What makes them better than the Chiefs? What makes them better than the Bills or Dallas? Absolutely nothing. They are 8-3, just like the rest of them. They are fallible, just like the rest of them. Just like the rest of them, they're a one-trick pony with Christian McCaffrey. You shut him down with one of the best run defenses in the league, one of the best pass rushes in the league. They've got nothing. I fully believe in the Eagles' underdog ability to win this game. I know San Fran is coming in gunning for us, and they may win. It may be that they best us this week. But here's what I think about the 49ers. Even if they do win, they ultimately lose because this is their Super Bowl. Mark my words. They've been bitching about this game for a full calendar year. They come in, they beat us, their season's over. They've reached the pinnacle. They don't give a shit because they beat the dreaded Eagles. You know that's their mentality. They have been talking trash for 12 straight months.
Yeah, but then the goal is the Super Bowl.
No, it's not. Not for them. They've been whining about. No, come on. You know they've been whining about this for a year.
Yeah.
Once they beat us, they view this as their Super Bowl. They do.
Yeah.
This has been the only thing they've talked about. For us, they're just a stepping stone to the next game.
Yeah, but they're going to still go try and win the Super Bowl.
No, they won't.
No, that's it.
No, they're going to pack up. They're going to go home. They're going to eat overpriced San Francisco pizza. They're going to fade into obscurity. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just riffing now, but I do think that the Eagles can win one at home. I'm feeling weirdly invigorated by a Bills defeat that I didn't even watch. So.
All right. Well, I'm glad you didn't watch it because I think that would have caused a heart attack for you.
Oh, it definitely
legitimately.
Would've. I'm way more positive not having watched. If I had watched that game, I would have been like, the Eagles are going to lose out. They're gonna lose the franchise.
No, not that bad. But I just think the 49ers, they got lucky. I think this is like I think the Valley coming. You know, like it's such a big win. It's gonna be followed up by a Valley coming up, and I think it's this week.
Look, the 49ers found ways to lose 3 games. The Eagles have only lost 1. So. You know, make of that what you will. We really struggle to lose games.
All right. Well, that is it for the world of football. But there's one more thing that we got to bring up in the world of sports entertainment. So it's good. It's right in between sports and entertainment.
Good bridge topic.
Yep. Talking about professional wrestling, and that is big news in the world of wrestling, and that is CM Punk made a surprise appearance at WWE Survivor Series, announcing he is back with WWE.
Oh, good for you.
So this is shocking considering that CM Punk, when he left WWE, he left on really bad terms 10 years ago. He criticized Vince McMahon. He criticized the company. He criticized Triple H.
This whole thing is very confusing. I don't obviously follow wrestling, but we've talked about it on occasion. And for me, it seems like he's burned every bridge he's traveled across because he left WWE and he was all pissy and everything. Then he got into issues with whatever Fight Club he was part of. And then
He decided to do UFC.
UFC, and then
that's legitimate fighting, and he lost two battles there, and he was like, okay, I'm done.
And he gave up.
Yeah.
He ran away with his tail between his legs. Then he trashed the other wrestling.
Then he went to
league.
AEW, and trashed that.
So he's just like literally walking across bridges with a flamethrower. Why would anybody want him back?
Well, WWE, they decided to bring him back. They think there's an angle to work with him, and Triple H had to approve on it, and he did, which is really that's ballsy. I mean, because CM Punk called out Triple H saying that he only got in because he's married the boss's daughter, and he didn't like the way he was leading the company, and he didn't like Vince McMahon.
So I guess Triple H, he's looking at it as a business decision, I guess, because he sees a way to make money off of CM Punk. I don't know. Not knowing much about these characters, it seems like a weird situation that Triple H would just okay it. You said,
yeah. Well, it's funny you mentioned Triple H specifically because I have a quote that I want to play. They did a media they call it a media scrum, but it's basically a press conference.
Yeah.
After Survivor Series, and people asked him, hey, this guy, he criticized you and your family, and 10 years ago, and why bring him back? And it's a pretty good quote, and I have it loaded up here, so I want to take a listen to Triple H's answer to that question.
A lot of time has gone by, almost 10 years, right? And if you are the same person you were 10 years ago, 10 years later, you've messed up. Everybody grows. Everybody changes. And I'm a different person. He's a different person. This is a different company, and we're all on the same even starting ground. So, what's next for CM Punk? That'll be interesting, won't it? Yeah, I'm interested to see that myself. I know whatever it is, it'll be talked about. It'll be exciting. And it'll be a thrill ride for the WWE Universe, no matter what it is. And I'm thrilled. We're all thrilled to have him back here and to have him back, cliched to say, but have him back home in WWE. It's where he belongs.
Yeah, wow.
That was
a 180.
That was a really good quote. I liked what he said about, if you're the same person you were 10 years ago, the kind of thing. But the entire thing, for people who haven't seen the video portion of it, just hearing the audio, is undercut by the giant boxes of Slim Jims. That was the only thing I could focus on.
Slim Jims is the sponsor.
He's giving this amazing thing, and I'm like, wow, that's really nice what he's saying. I'm like, there's just these massive Slim Jim boxes on the table.
Look, they're the sponsor.
They're the sponsor. You gotta get that brand brand deal.
You gotta make money.
But Slim Jims aside, I think what he said
literally.
I think what he said was interesting in that it's been a long time, and just put it behind him basically.
Yeah. I also like the fact he also mentioned we're different people, but the company's different too.
Yeah.
This is not Vince McMahon's company now.
Right.
This is now a global corporation under TKO. Ari Emanuel is now the head honcho. It's not Vince McMahon. I mean, Vince McMahon still has that, executive chairperson role or whatever, but he's not the end-all, be-all now.
Right.
So this is a whole different ballgame now, and I think maybe that helped pave the way. And Triple H, too, all because you're married to Stephanie McMahon. I mean, that's not a guarantee he's going to keep his job either. He's got to be on the lookout, how to...
It's new management.
Right. And WWE and TKO, They got board. They got a what do you call it? A board they have to answer to. They got to show that they're making money. They've got to make sure that these storylines, whatever they put together, are putting asses in seats.
Yeah, and I'm sure.
And if CM Punk does it, who cares what he said 10 years ago? Bring him back.
I mean, this is exactly what they want. This is what they hope that this news will do, is get people talking about it, get people wondering, like, oh my gosh, isn't there a lot of bitterness here? And it's going to generate a lot of hype, generate a lot of views, generate a lot of conversation. So, it's the whole no press is bad press thing, bringing back somebody who, previously had dunked on the company makes people wonder, like, oh my gosh, what are they doing?
Yeah.
So I guess my question is, though, that from a storyline and business perspective, it makes sense. But how do you wrangle the personality of CM Punk, who has a history of just torching every organization he's a part of?
Yeah. I mean,
can he be kept in line?
That's the thing. That's the thing you got to hope. You got to hope that coming back into WWE, he's really going to be with elite talent. And WWE has the capabilities to put him back as a household name. I mean, literally, WrestleMania is going to be in Philly this year.
Yeah.
I mean, I can definitely see him walking into Lincoln Financial Field, going one-on-one with, Cody Rhodes, a Seth Rollins, like a major A-lister, and putting on a great match. The question is can he be good from now until then?
Right.
Before, does he have another incident with somebody? And apparently, this is not going over swimmingly. There's in the front-facing arena, they have like Seth Rollins, and they have Drew McIntyre saying that, we don't like CM Punk, but that's in front of the camera. So that's part of a storyline possibly. But Fightful Select, which is an insider news source, claims that another top-tier wrestler was actually livid at the decision backstage. So this may not be.
I mean, do you have an idea of who it might be, or
I don't know off the top of my head. But
and I guess my other question is,
it's probably someone who's been sniffing around the main event scene and maybe hasn't gotten a chance at the title yet.
And now
there's
probably
one more person he's got to worry about, because CM Punk's going to be put at the top.
Right, because that's a big name. Whoever this other person is probably is not as big a name as CM Punk was or is.
Right.
And so now they're like, oh, great, now we're going to bring this guy in and supplant me. My other question, follow-up, is, remind me, what did CM Punk do? So he trashed on everybody, and then he's just looking for work now. He's desperate, right?
Well, if he wants to wrestle, yeah.
Because
it's pretty much only now WWE. And he trashed on AEW, so now it's only WWE he can go back to.
Yeah.
There's really nowhere else he can go to.
Yeah, so he's reached, I think it was like a couple months ago, we talked about how he was like, he was done his career.
Well, yeah, he trashed AEW.
Yeah.
And it was like, there's kind of no other game in town. Those are your two big ones.
Until WWE came back in, I guess. And
yeah, so
we'll see.
Yeah, and I guess at this rate, if he stays on good behavior, he may have a match right here at Lincoln Financial Field for WrestleMania this year in 2024. It's right around the corner. It's in March or April.
Wow. Yeah.
So he may be having a match here in Philadelphia coming soon. But there you go. I had to report that because I do love my wrestling. So it is crazy to think, but CM Punk back
after a decade.
Yeah.
Away. Jeez.
Back in the fold of WWE. But with that, now we can officially start to wrap this up and take a break. But don't go anywhere, because we have the entertainment part, sports entertainment. We went through sports. We'll have entertainment coming at you with the entertainment entree, and then the non-fortune cookie odd news as well when we return. Don't go anywhere. This is the Crispy Noodle Podcast.
Ready for the weekend? Happy Friday. Hi, my name's Marie, and I'm an artist who's been making Happy Friday doodles every week for over 7 years. And now you can own my art collection in this Volume 1 and Volume 2 art series. These doodles span across multiple themes, yearly festivities, various countries, languages, and more. Both coffee table books have something for everyone and are the perfect conversation starter or gift for a friend. Really, anyone who enjoys a good weekend. Available on Amazon, Ingram, BookBaby,
Barnes & Noble,
and more. Visit happyfridaydoodles.com/books and get your copies today. Let's celebrate the best day of the week. Happy Friday.
The taste of French champagne has always been celebrated for its excellence. There's a California champagne by Paul Masson, inspired by that same French excellence. It's fermented in the bottle, and like the best French champagne, it's vintage dated. Paul Masson's superb taste shouldn't be too surprising. This champagne doesn't come from France, but it was created by a man who did, Paul Masson. Paul Masson will sell no wine before it's time.
Ah, the French champagne has always been celebrated for its excellence. Ah, the French champagne has always been celebrated for its excellence.
Yeah, there you go. A little tidbit from the master himself, Orson Welles.
I like the fact that you did both clips.
Yeah, there you go. The final finished product, and then we have our classic outtake.
Yeah. It's
But-
good. People need to understand,
Yeah,
the whole journey.
yeah. Monday, I think it was Monday morning this week. I don't know why. I had some coffee. I was feeling good. And I was just like, I'm playing the Orson Welles clip in my kitchen.
There you go.
And Rachel,
Sure.
Rachel came down. She's like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I don't know. That's how I want to start off my week."
Some-
The French. Just exactly like that.
Ah, the French champagne has always been celebrated for its excellence.
I'm celebrating the excellence.
I mean, why not?
Yeah, why not?
That's how you like to start your day. That's totally fine.
That's a good way to start the day.
Yeah.
Look, when the bar is set that low, you're going to have a good day.
Some people read affirmations, but you need an auditory affirmation.
Yes.
Of comparison of how good you're doing.
Yes.
In relation to, in context of how bad you could be doing.
Exactly. So there you go. I'm still putting things together better than Orson Welles. Anyway, that's a great transition into the next part of the show, the entertainment entree.
And now, the latest in movies.
The Simpson guy writes to movies. Dear Die Hard, you rock. Especially when that guy was on the roof.
Music.
I know what that is. That's music.
Video games.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
Celebrities.
You really know Warren Beatty? Yes, I do. I took a leak next to him once at the Golden Globes.
And more.
You were the all-singing, all-dancing crap of the world.
This is the entertainment entree.
All right, entertainment entree time, and we're going to kick it off with the segment where Mike is going to let you know what you should keep an eye out for this upcoming weekend with new movies, TV, and video games in Mike's This Week in Entertainment. All right, Mikey, what do you got for the people?
All right, well, first up in movies, Godzilla Minus One. I don't know why it's called Godzilla Minus One, but that's what it's called.
Godzilla can't do math.
No, he can't. He's just a lizard. Cut him some slack, man.
No math.
But Godzilla Minus One is a monster movie, but it bucks many of those monster movie trends with a stellar 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. I was shocked to see it. It has an average score of 8.3 out of 10. Set in post-World War II Japan, the movie follows a fairly typical monster movie setup, but critics are praising its equal focus on the human side of the story. It tells a tale about war and loss that infuses the film with some much-needed soul. So critics are really, really loving it. I'm super curious about why it has such great review scores when it just looks like another typical Godzilla movie. But there you go. Godzilla -1 with great reviews, lots of critical praise. Go check it out. But if you want to get an early jump on some possible award-worthy movies, keep this one on your radar. May, December is a new drama starring Julianne Moore and Natalie Portman. Here's the synopsis. It is heavy. 20 years after their notorious tabloid romance gripped the nation, Gracie and her husband Joe, 23 years her junior, brace themselves for their twins to graduate from high school. When Hollywood actress Elizabeth, who is set to play Gracie in an upcoming film, comes to spend time with the family to better understand her subject, family dynamics unravel under the pressure of the outside gaze. Joe, never having processed what happened in his youth, starts to confront the reality of life as an empty nester at 36. And as Elizabeth and Gracie study each other, the similarities and differences between the two women begin to ebb and flow. May December is an exploration of truth, storytelling, and the difficulties or impossibility of fully understanding another person. The film has a 90. Yeah, it's pretty heavy, right? It's wild times. Go check out the trailer. It looks absolutely stunning. It has a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. Netflix paid $11 million for distribution rights after its performance at the Cannes Film Festival. So this should contend for some major awards, but it has a limited release before hitting streaming, so try to check it out if you can. That's May, December. Again, go check out the trailers. It's really eerie, really weird, and as the trailer puts it, it makes you feel one thing and then makes you question if you should be feeling something completely different. And that's what we're looking forward to this week in entertainment.
All right, there you go. The latest from Mike this week in entertainment. All right, let's get to some video game news.
Yeah, so we talked about some movies, but now the rest of entertainment is all about some interesting video game rumors surrounding our favorite console, the Sony PlayStation. First up, there's some rumors swirling that God of War Ragnarok could be announcing some DLC or a possible expansion spin-off game later this year. The Video Game Awards are right around the corner, and a lot of people are speculating that we could see some potential hints at where the franchise could go, possibly with this expansion, spin-off, DLC. They don't know what to call it. Some people are suggesting it could be what they like to call an expand-alone game, which is I'm trying to think of like Spider-Man Miles Morales, where it's kind of like an in-between, like a 1.5 before another sequel. So I guess really what I want to know, Rich, is are you excited for more God of War Ragnarok, and where do you think this expand-alone game could go, if it's a Ragnarok 1.5 or what have you?
Yeah, so my concern is that I think this is going to be a non-Kratos story.
That's
think,
what some people are saying.
I think the only direction that's left is to follow Atreus.
Yeah.
Because he goes on his own journey to conclude the ending of Ragnarok.
Yeah, so for people that aren't familiar with the game, I guess spoilers, because we're going to spoil most of it.
Yeah. Whoops. Yeah, I should have played the spoiler.
Yeah.
It's a spoiler! Ooh, it's a spoiler! Don't listen! Go away!
Slight spoiler.
Yeah, slight spoiler. I'll try to keep it vague, but you're right in that Atreus does head out at the end of God of War Ragnarok to find the rest of his people. If you haven't played the game, you'll figure out what I'm talking about, but you know, he's kind of set up on his own Kratos-like journey, right? So it makes sense that the game would follow him in his adventures. Minor gameplay spoiler, but you do get to play as Atreus in God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah.
It is a very contentious bit of gameplay. A lot of people did not like playing as Atreus. Some people did like it. what do you think? I mean, did you like those segments? Most of the people I've talked to about the game did not like the Atreus segments.
Well, I mean, it's kind of disappointing after you play as Kratos.
Right.
You want to play.
You're swinging around the blades. You're throwing.
You want
the axe.
blades. Yeah. Like he's got the cool weapons.
Yeah.
You know, Atreus only's got the bow, and like
Right.
he can't really do that much with it.
You get a sword,
Now-
but the sword only shoots magic lightning bolts.
Yeah.
Like, it's not an actual sword.
Right. Now, I think in terms of the story for Ragnarok, I think it fit so that you kind of had that plot A, plot B,
right,
dual storylines going back and forth with each other. So I didn't mind that as much, but a standalone Atreus game, I don't know if that's going to be well received.
Yeah. So my only hope for this is that they would need to find a way to adapt his gameplay so it's more similar to Kratos's. So, like Atreus is a ranged character, but God of War was never set up with that type of ranged combat in mind. Like, yes, you can throw the axe, but it's only in service of like setting up combos or a puzzle or like, you know, to apply like a status effect to an enemy. That's not your main way of fighting enemies, is throwing the axe like a ranged weapon. But Atreus with the bow and arrow, it's like a third person shooter, and it just doesn't control that well. So I think what'd be cool is if he could use some of his magic to like make weapons that you can use a la the Blades of Chaos or the axe. I know that's kind of like a cop-out, but that's the only way that I could see it working with fans. Otherwise, you do potentially face this backlash, because it was very divisive playing as Atreus. Now, on the flip side, I trust Sony Santa Monica. They did 2 amazing God of War games, and I remember when they first showed the revised God of War and they revealed the axe. You know, we like to imagine everybody was like fully on board at the time. It looked cool, but there was a lot of questions like, oh man, like an axe, like what about the Blades of Chaos? What about the fast and furious gameplay? You know, the flashy combos. Now we're this big lumbering, like burly
Triple H
lumberjack.
lookalike.
Yes, and I mean, what was your reaction when they first revealed the axe? Could this be another situation where it's like we're not sure, but then it actually ends up being good once we get our hands on it?
Yeah. I mean, it definitely could be one of those situations. I just think it's going to be a tough sell if the entire game is all Atreus. That seems to be, I think that would be a tough sell.
A lot of people also find him grating as a character. I didn't. I thought he made sense as a character.
Yeah.
He's like a young, punkish, kind of preteen teenager. It makes sense for him to act the way that he does. Some people didn't like it.
Yeah, if you didn't like it, I hope you don't have teenage boys.
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
That's exactly what teenage boys do.
But also, if you didn't like it, like that's kind of the point of the story. Like he's supposed to be kind of like in the first game, like, he's supposed to be kind of annoying, and in the second game, he's supposed to be kind of boneheaded.
Yeah,
you know,
he's growing up.
He's growing up. He's doing his own thing. He's separating from his father a little bit. Like that's the whole journey.
Yeah,
you know. So
I hope you do better with your own kids when you have them later on.
Yeah. The only other thing I'll say about this potential...
I want to take them back. They're not acting like perfect human beings.
Yeah, send them back to where they came from. Return the purchase.
Yeah.
The only other thing I'll say about this expand-alone game is that I could see a way for this to usher in a new pantheon of gods. Because that was always the thing with God of War, is like, where do we go? Because Kratos is like, quote unquote, retired, you know? So my whole theory for where God of War goes next, and this is getting all very hypothetical, like Atreus goes, he's doing his journey, which we need to play, and it leads him to, I believe, the Celtic pantheon. Because, hear me out, Mimir is from the Celtic lands. And so Atreus and Mimir go to find the rest of Atreus' people, and it leads him to that realm. Something happens. Maybe the gods get whiff of it. They're like, hey, here's this crazy kid, son of that god killer. We should get ahead of this. We should get this guy. You know, then Kratos is like,
No, I gotta get back in this.
they took my boy, those bastards. I don't know. What do you think? Like I can see a very clear path if they wanted to keep Kratos as the main character, but leave the Norse realm. That's how they do it. Norse and Celtic are very close and similar, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
What do you think?
No, go to the Egyptian ones.
Everybody wants Egyptian.
Yeah.
Everybody wants Egyptian.
Come on.
So you want to see Mimir, Atreus, and Kratos in like scaling pyramids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want it to be the pyramid level from Super Mario 64. You have to catch a bird.
Catch a bird?
Yeah, and you got to go on top of 4 pillars, and the pyramid explodes.
I will say I'm more familiar with Egyptian gods than Celtic gods, so I think most people are.
Egypt.
So you disagree with the Celtic theory that I have?
No, but I'd be disappointed.
But you'd be disappointed. Aw. Like, it makes perfect sense, but I'd be very sad.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So
that's just my humble theory, but we'll see. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I just want more God of War. Even if it's just Atreus, like, I'll still buy it. I'll still play it because I love the world. I love the characters.
And this studio really hasn't done anything wrong. So
right. And I'm going to trust them until they mess up.
Right.
Yeah.
So there you go. Hopefully we get more God of War in the future. But there's one more video game story you want to tackle real quick.
Yeah, just real quick, more Sony rumors. So we had reported in the past about Sony PlayStation trying to pivot to live service games. Live service games, for those not in the know, are things like Fortnite or Destiny, where you buy the game once and the developers constantly update it and introduce new events and new systems and new skins and levels, yada, yada, yada. They were real big, like 3-4 years ago. Not so much anymore. Live service games have been on the decline as people have less time, less money, and less energy to devote to essentially a second job in a virtual world. Nobody wants that. I want to play the game, finish it, and move to the next one. I don't want to have to log in for 10 hours a week to keep, I don't know what you keep in the games.
A skin.
Woo! Like virtual currency. I don't know. So Sony wanted to pivot to more live service games. Then they realized, live service games aren't really going to be as big as we thought they were. They were planning about 60% of their games going forward were going to be live service games. They were planning to launch 12 of them by the fiscal year 2025, which runs through March 2026. Now it seems like they're scaling way back, and they're only planning to release 6 of them by March 2026, down from, it was originally 12, then it was 10, now it's 6. And a lot of people are pointing to a failed Last of Us Factions 2. That was recently completely scrapped. They got to go back to the drawing board on that one as being a major concern. Destiny developer Bungie having lagging sales, and just the general industry pivot away from live service games. Rich, what do you think about all this? I mean, right call, wrong call. Is 6 still too high? I mean, 6 live service games by March 2026? That seems, to me, like a lot.
Yeah, but I am glad to see the number trickle down.
Yeah. 12 was insane.
That's crazy, yeah. Because,
like, most people only have maybe 1 or 2 live service games.
Yeah, you can't be addicted to multi of these games.
Like when you were playing Grand Theft Auto online pretty regularly, like that would be considered like a live service type thing. Could you imagine like playing like 12 of them?
Yeah, I
like,
can't do it. You don't have enough bandwidth.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So as a business model, I thought it was stupid.
Yeah, I agree, and I don't think that's where gamers want to go either.
No, I don't think so either. Especially gamers in like our situation, and a lot of gamers are older gamers that just want to, just to put it bluntly, spend time by themselves in a different fantasy universe.
Yeah, and you want to enjoy a good story.
Yeah.
Story is still number one. You got to have a good story.
I think so.
I don't think you can get behind a video game if it doesn't have a good story.
Yeah.
So I think it makes sense.
I fully agree. Story is paramount to me. I'll play games that don't look the best visually or have quote-unquote boring gameplay in service of great story, like all those like walking simulators. Like I find a lot of them really compelling. Their stories are really cool. So I'm happy to see this number trickle down. I think 6 is still way too many. That's a lot of resources devoted to, because it's not just the game. You have to then support it as it ages.
Yeah, you have to have like monthly events and specials. And
right. Constantly new skins and levels and, microtransactions. And it just seems like...
That seems like having 6 full-time jobs at the same time.
It sounds awful. And just in terms of like a resource drain, like I know they're doing it to make money to create bigger Last of Us style games, but I also see them as potentially being a drain if you have to constantly update 6 different live service things and also just the buy-in for them. Like some of these live service games like Fortnite, like they didn't just like, it takes a lot to build that audience, and these audiences already have the games that they go to. You're not going to convince Fortnite players to jump to something new when they've already invested hundreds of hours and hundreds of dollars.
Unless it's Fortnite 2.
Right, exactly. So, I don't know. I question every time I see live service come up in relation to Sony. I'm like, you guys have the formula. It's The Last of Us. It's Horizon. It's God of War. Stick to that. Stick to that. License it out for TV shows and movies. You'll do just fine. The live service thing, it's just not in their DNA. It doesn't make sense to me.
I agree. So, hopefully that'll be the beginning of the end then for
Die.
Yeah, take that. All right, but now we got to get into the third and final portion of the show, the non-fortune cookie odd news.
We've been talking about cool and its ramifications and how it applies to the hip scene. But maybe you could give us some examples now of the opposite of cool, uncool. Just exactly what is uncool?
My nipples look like milk duds.
Holy shnikes.
It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
It's not of this world. I don't know exactly what it is or what it's doing, but this is not human intelligence, okay? It's not human intelligence we're facing.
How you doing? Me? I'm doing great.
Mandada basata. I don't make this stuff up.
I'll take a pound of nuts.
That's a lot of nuts. That'll be $4, baby. You want fries with that? I seen the celery dance across the baseball fields.
You had me at meat tornado.
No, go past this. Past this part. In fact, never play this again.
Okay. What does that mean?
And now it's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
So sit back, get everything you need to get from the kitchen. Be sure and empty the bladders. Go to the bathroom because you're in for a hell of a ride.
Odd news.
That's right, everyone. It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news. Here in this segment, Rich researches the news, he reads the news, and I react to the news. He finds a weird and wacky story and keeps it hidden from me, which ensures that all of my reactions are my genuine gut reactions to hearing this story for the very first time. I don't know what's about to happen. You guys don't know what's about to happen. And even Rich doesn't know what's about to happen because these stories always take us down wacky and wild paths, and I'm ready to get started. Where are we heading to? Why? Where? When? What? Who?
All right, which question do you want first?
All of the above. Mostly where.
Oh, well, you shouldn't have to ask twice on that one.
Now, who is this guy in Florida?
It's Florida, and they're crazy.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Yep.
I'm hoping for is it a weird Thanksgiving story? Because that just happened.
Not quite Thanksgiving, no.
Okay.
No. This happened in Jensen Beach, Florida.
Jensen Beach?
Yeah,
Okay.
Jensen Beach.
Never heard of that before.
It's a beach. So
all right.
Must be a highly sought after area. And we're going to talk about the case of 27-year-old Ariella Messina.
Okay.
So this is who we're talking about here. So it started off first when SWAT team members...
Whoa, that escalated quickly.
Yep, they were called for the execution of a search warrant on Tuesday morning at a residence in Jansen Beach, Florida. 5 roommates were in the house, and they arrested them all. They arrested all of them at first in their search. Then they discovered a backpack, and inside this backpack had a few items. It included a substance that tested positive for meth. So,
Whoops.
yeah, there you go. That'll get the attention of the SWAT team.
You want to cook crystal meth?
I'm the cook.
I'm the cook. I love it.
Yep. And it also had prescription grade muscle relaxant pills in there as well.
Oh, that sounds like a doozy.
So, yep, we got some drugs here. But then, as they were searching the apartment, 27-year-old Ariella Messina made a startling plea that needed to be heard. She fell to the ground on her knees, cried, and asked the cops, please do not, whatever you do not take my dildo.
Well, it was very erotic. Yes, indeed. It was erotic.
I love that this is the one thing. Whatever
Please,
you do,
please.
I spent $150 on that one.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah, it's nice and purple. I don't know. It just hits me at the right spot, not that one.
It has all the right wrinkles and ridges. Oh God.
I just love the fact she fell on her knees. Like this is the
like
thing.
literally begging and pleading.
This is the thing that puts her weeping. Like, you can do whatever you want. I don't care even about my 4 roommates. Do whatever you want to do to them.
Yeah, whatever. Whatever. Just lock them up, throw away the key, but please.
They suck. But please, not
Please,
my dildo.
Not the dildo.
Please. You know how hard it is to find one?
Please, officer, you have to understand.
Yes, please.
It's my one true friend.
Help me.
Well, it was very erotic. Yes, indeed. It was erotic.
So.
All right, so she's begging and pleading. She's on her hands and knees.
Well, that statement actually did her in.
Really?
Because that backpack that had the meth and the illegal pills in it also had the dildo that she claimed was hers. So she inadvertently gave up herself.
Everything.
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. You're wrong.
So she accidentally tied it all back to her.
Yep.
Damn.
Just because she wanted her dildo that bad.
Those cops were paying. Those cops were paying attention.
Yeah. That's like a LA Noire tidbit. Like, you open up the book. Wait a minute.
Hey, you're like, press X to doubt.
Yeah, wait. And then choose item.
Yeah, choose item. Dildo.
Dildo. Yeah.
Doubt. Dildo. But then the reaction has to be so over the top. Remember that game? The reactions were absurd. It's like, oh, really?
Yeah.
You have a dildo? And like really accusatory.
We just found a dildo in the backpack that had the drugs.
And you say you knew nothing about the drugs? You're a liar.
You whore.
Yeah.
You gotta,
it's always like so
you have to
angry.
insult the victim too, yeah.
Oh,
you
man.
little slut. I knew it was you.
I knew it. I gotta replay that game.
Yeah, it's a good game.
It's a good game.
This case needs to be in it now.
During the Vice section.
Yes. Yeah, if you fix the chapter.
Exactly.
There you go, Vice, yeah.
That was a hard chapter, okay?
Triangle doubt.
Yeah.
Select evidence.
Dildo. That's the updated. That's the 20. That's the 21st century LA Noire.
I want me some glory hole.
Whoa.
Jerry Jones is the chief inspector on the scene there.
That one.
I want me some glory hole.
That one I click believe.
Yeah. So the cops confirmed that that statement of her trying to plead for her sex toy inadvertently gave her up because the sex toy was also found in that backpack. And then researching her medical files, she did not have a prescription for the muscle relaxants. So
Or the meth.
Or the meth. Well, obviously, yeah.
I don't know. Wait. Let's double check. Let's make sure.
It's a weird doctor prescribing meth.
Take 2 Advil and some meth, and call me in the morning.
Yeah. You want to lose some weight?
Yeah.
and some teeth.
It's a cure-all.
Yeah, we got
pesky teeth getting in your way.
We got the drug for you. Come see Dr. Messina.
There you go.
She's got it for you.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, inadvertently that gave her up, and then she also at one point tried to deny her name. But she wore a necklace with the name Ariella on it.
Oh, my God.
And also gave the cops her driver's license when she was first arrested. So, nice try.
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. You're wrong.
You can't, after the fact, be like, no, wait, that's not me.
Yeah, that's...
Because that means you provided false information.
That's my twins' license plate. Or driver's license.
And then the question is, well, why do you have
who it is? It's it's God's.
It's God. That's right. That's
God,
right.
God needs a driver's license.
God does need a driver's license.
And I belong to that cult. And actually, God told me to have meth. It's part of my religious beliefs.
That's right. I'm protected under my First Amendment.
Yes.
This is part of my religious practice.
That's all she needed to do.
I need the meth to connect with God.
She needed to watch that HBO series.
Yeah.
Love That Saves Us All or whatever. I don't know. Whatever it was called.
Love and dildos save us all.
Yeah. Maybe that could have helped you here.
She needs the dildo to connect to God.
It's a very intimate connection.
Yeah.
That got her hook, line, and sinker to the cops. She was booked into the county jail on a pair of felony drug counts. She is being held in lieu of a $10,000 bond.
Wow.
So,
damn.
Boy, I hope she really liked that dildo, because
all that over a dildo.
Yeah, that essentially cost her 2 felony counts of drug use, illegal drugs on her. Whew.
Damn.
That's rough.
She's definitely not going to be able to use it now.
Can you sneak it into prison?
Are you allowed to have something like that in prison? I don't think so. What are you allowed to take? I don't think you're not allowed to take anything. It's prison.
Can you I mean, you could sneak it up there maybe then just try and walk around with it.
I know some women who could hide a machine gun in there.
Yeah, just tuck it in there and just clench.
If that guy knows machine guns can go up there, why not,
machine guns are pretty big.
I know some women who could hide a machine gun in there. Yeah.
When you really think about the context of that audio clip, like that's in the middle of like a news report.
Yes.
Like some news anchor was like, ha ha ha, this will be really funny.
Yeah. That was on 11 o'clock news. Yeah.
I know some women who could hide a machine gun in there. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you could sneak it in the prison.
Maybe she could. Maybe.
Just don't turn it on.
I think they should just let the inmates have them. Like, what harm are they going to do? Nothing.
I don't know. Maybe you could beat somebody up with one of them.
Like bludgeon somebody.
Yeah.
With your gigantic monster dildo. Like club them in the head.
It was a weapon in Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Yeah. I mean, there could be weapons.
Yeah.
They could be.
It could be.
Shank somebody with a sharpened dildo.
Oh, yeah. You shave it down.
Shave it down. Yeah.
Because you done goofed.
I mean, I guess it's possible.
It's violent.
But yeah, there you go. I just love it when people inadvertently give themselves up to the police, because my favorite story when it comes to that is the guy who true story. He robbed a bank. He did everything right. He cracked the safe. He got into the lock boxes. He knew which ones had the most money in it. Which he
did his research.
He had everything right. Boom, 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 boom. And then he decided, I'm a little tired. I'm going to take a nap. Right in the jail, right in the safe.
Oh man!
And while he was taking a nap, the door closes on him, and he's locked himself in.
Oh man!
Just like what you couldn't wait.
You're right. These stories happen with
you couldn't wait another 20 minutes when you got home.
Yeah, right. Are you really what? You have narcolepsy or something? You just like fall asleep randomly. These stories happen with weird frequency. Like do you remember there was a story where some guy broke into a house? And again, just like doing his thing. Nobody was going to stop him. And then he stopped to make himself a snack.
Yes. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Just leave and get something on your way home.
No, I'm hungry. I need to eat right now.
So dumb. If you're a criminal, just don't say anything or do anything. Just do your crime.
Do your
and then
crime.
leave.
Get out of there.
Yeah.
What the hell? It's not that hard.
No.
Do your crime. Get out of there, and then do whatever you got to do.
Right. Exactly. You can wait to take your nap, have your snack, go to the bathroom. Just wait.
Basically, these guys are acting like kindergartners.
They're like toddlers.
Yeah. Can't you just wait another?
They're like, I need to poop a nap right now. Right now.
Yeah. Boom. Yeah. But that's what it takes. People just care about their sex toys and have to take a nap. That's what happens, and they get caught.
Can't take a nap without the sex toy.
No. Not a good one.
Helps them relax.
I know some women who could hide a machine gun in there. Yeah.
So there you go. That's what I have for you this week in the non-fortune cookie odd news. And with that, we got to start wrapping this episode up. What a crazy episode. We running the gauntlet between an Eagles crazy win, then weird. Oh, wait, I forgot about the Colt. We talked about Colts.
Colt, yep.
Then the Eagles crazy win. Then Godzilla -1.
Godzilla can't do math.
Whatever that is.
Yeah.
And then a girl that really doesn't want the cops taking her sex toy.
Her precious, precious dildo.
Yeah. There you go. So that's what we got here on this episode of the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Thank you guys for watching. If you like what you heard, make sure you go to our website, thecrispynoodle.com. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, all the social media, hubbabaloo. But most importantly, make sure you have a way to get our podcast sent to you every week. There's 3 main ways to do that. One is on YouTube. Just hit the subscribe button and you're good to go. The second one is watching directly on Facebook Watch. You can just hop on Facebook and watch us directly from our page. And number 3 is through Spotify. The video podcast does go up on Spotify, but also you can put Spotify on in the background and listen to us as an audio-only podcast. And you can use Android Auto and Apple CarPlay to take us on the go with you. So if you need a podcast for your commute, there you go. You can put us on every Wednesday whenever the episode comes out. So there you go. All the ways to listen to the podcast every week.
Yep, so many ways to check out the Crispy Noodle Podcast, but if you need to get in touch with us individually to share your sports, entertainment, or odd news stories, you can find us on X, formerly known as Twitter, and send those stories to us. I am at Mikey Costanzo, MikeyCostanzo.
And I am at Rich Liebig, RichLiebig. Find us on X. Let us know what's happening. If there's a news story you want us to talk about on next week's show, send it our way. Odd news goes to me, so Mike doesn't get to see it.
That's right.
Yeah,
I have to protect myself.
He needs to be completely blind going into it.
Yeah.
But for now, that'll do it. This is the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. I think that'll do it. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.
Later. Bye-bye, all you fine peoples. Good night.
Some of us have great stories, pretty stories that take place at lakes with boats and friends and noodle salad. A lot of people, that's their story. Good times, noodle salad.